Over the last 2 years, no team has run the ball less frequently than his has, just 31% of the time. For the record, each of LaFleur's last two offenses, the Titans last year, the Rams the year before, ranked in the top 5 in designed rushing plays. And you heard Rodgers mention the 49ers. LaFleur sort of comes from the Kyle Shanahan tree. And so we bring Graziano into the conversation here, NFL insider extraordinaire. It's good to have you back in the studio, my man. And let's start with that. There's been a lot of, ever since the conversation came out about how Rodgers was apparently frustrated he couldn't change plays at the line of scrimmage, I think there's been sort of this sense that that was a relationship that had started badly. What is your sense of it?
Yeah, I talked to Matt LaFleur right as they were wrapping minicamp last month, and he, of course, as coaches will do, say, too much is being made of this. Yeah, his point was, look, his offense is all about, pre-snap and reading what's going on and motion and all that kind of stuff. And if the quarterback is audibling, then that motion gets affected in a way that isn't helpful. So they have to find a way to coexist. And Matt said to me, I got to think during this break we have coming up about ways to incorporate the stuff he does well, that he's great at, into the stuff we want to do. So that's the mission. They're putting something together here. And you hear Aaron in that clip talking about change and how change can be hard work. So that's the stage that they're at this point. I don't think it's a bad relationship. I think it's a relationship right now that's being put together, and they're finding out the things about, each is finding out the things about the other that they need to know in order to try and be successful.
Yeah, it's a unique relationship, though, because we're talking about one of the great quarterbacks in the NFL and arguably one of the most talented ever, and a guy who's accomplished a ton with a coach now that there's question marks tied to. I mean, Tennessee, his 1 year of being the actual play caller in Tennessee last year, like 27th or 28th in the NFL. And I've said this is Aaron Rodgers' greatest challenge as well. I mean, his whole adult life ran the same offense. 12, 13 years ran the same offense. And now going into his 15th year, I've got to change everything that I've already known. It's almost like going from the States and learning how to drive and then all of a sudden moving to Europe and having to drive on the other side of the road. Like, you're doing something that you are accustomed to, just totally different. And so it's going to be a very difficult change for Aaron Rodgers. But the pressure is on Matt LaFleur, and it's on early. Because for a guy, again, who's done all that Rodgers has done, you as a coach need to prove to that player, I can help you play well. We're going to do things differently, because this is a team that's only had a top 10 offense.
You're right.
Once in the last 5 years.
Maybe he does have to now drive on the other side of the road, but he is one of the best drivers in the history of driving. So I think they are going to be okay. And that roster on defense, more importantly, has gotten a lot better. I think that team is good. They should have legitimate title aspirations, which is why I think you're right. If they start out slow, the pressure is going to be on LaFleur, not only from the outside, but from Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers needs to win, and he wants to win now. And I'm sure he's going to get restless if things aren't working out early for them offensively.
I think there's absolutely going to be growing pains with the offense because it's a brand new scheme. The run game is totally different. The run game concepts that LaFleur is bringing in, the Shanahan, outside zone
different
stuff.
From what he's done for 12 years.
Yeah, and the offensive line has to learn new stuff. The running backs have to learn new stuff. He told me, he said, Jimmy Graham is going to be an asset for us because he's got some experience in this kind of thing as a blocker. So, yeah, I think there's going to be, the early part of the season is going to be about that offense figuring it out.
You did this fun article where you made a whole bunch of predictions coming up on what will happen in the NFL over the next 3 years, and one of them is you predicted the Packers will not win a division title in the next 3 seasons.
I think they're too far right now behind where the Vikings and the Bears are. I mean, they were closer to 4th place last year than they were to 2nd, and I like those two teams where they are in their position. I agree with Dominique that the Packers got better defensively this offseason, but I still think they need to do more work on the offensive side of the ball personnel-wise.
That's a gutsy prediction, and it makes me want to go read the article, and everyone should.
No, please
because if you're saying their biggest question mark, you're saying the defense is solidified, their biggest question mark is on offense.
I said the defense was better.
Well, their defense
solidified?
Their defense is better, much better, going against those offenses in that division that aren't great. If their biggest question mark is can Aaron Rodgers find a way to score enough points, I think they're going to win a division in the next 3 years.
Even improved, their defense is not what Minnesota and Chicago run.
Of course not, but Minnesota and Chicago have to go against Aaron Rodgers when they have to go against Kirk Cousins.
One of the things last year when we talked about Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers outside of the scheme was they were missing players. They didn't have a lot of good players around Rodgers. On their team right now, who's the guy that scares you on their offense outside of Devontae Adams? It's not Jimmy Graham. He had 55 catches last year. They're relying on 3 really young and somewhat unproven receivers. They took Jay Sternberg out of Texas A&M in the 2nd round at tight end, but they're still the same people that were in place last year that we questioned, are they good enough around Aaron Rodgers? It's still the same group.
The people that
and
fear,
they're all learning a new scheme.
Yeah.
the people, or the person who I fear on that offense is the man that Greeny called Aaron. He's scary, and that offensive line can protect him. If you can protect him, I don't give a damn what the scheme is. You protect that man and let him throw the ball, you're going to score enough points to win enough games to win a division in the next 3 years.
Everyone, thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports, more analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+. We'll see you there.